Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a fantastic Thursday so far. This is just going to be a really short and sweet Cardano update video. There's a lot going on for ADA, and there's also a lot going on in the cryptocurrency market. And the risk for this market, I don't think can be ignored. So we're going to talk about quite a lot, actually, in this video. We will talk about the Vasil hard fork and a run-up that we will potentially be getting. We have previously stated that you're only going to get that run if Bitcoin behaves. So the likelihood is if Bitcoin does see some sort of a slam to the downside, Cardano's going with it, simply because it's been swimming against the stream so far, but it will get tired. You know, ultimately Bitcoin is still that tide that rises and sinks all ships. So I'll be looking at that. Go over a little bit of the Cardano news, talk about Martin Lawrence. Big fan of Bad Boys, actually. The first two, wasn't a fan of the third one. I think old movies are a lot better than many of the new movies that are coming out. Anyway, that's when this isn't a movie review, but I want to kick the video off talking about this bill. The U.S. Senate, the senators have essentially, the U.S. senators, Lummis and Christina, I think, Kirsten, have essentially proposed a bill that outlines rules and regulations for the cryptocurrency market. And we actually played this Squawk Box clip talking, where they're talking about this bill and how essentially Cardano would find itself in the classification of a commodity, which means it would come under the regulatory clarity of the CFTC and not the SEC, which would be a huge win for crypto. You know, ultimately, we want crypto to be deemed a commodity because there's lots of tax benefits for that, and a lot less sort of reporting in regards to regulations associated with it. It'd be a huge win for Cardano in the crypto space. We know that Grayscale, and we spoke about this, essentially have, I think it's a 32% allocation of their layer 1 protocols against Ethereum, or excluding Ethereum. Ethereum competitors, they actually have Cardano as a 32% hold. So it shows a huge confidence, and Grayscale are famously very known for pushing the spot Bitcoin ETF. So they're working very closely with regulators. So is that maybe, you know, I try and sort of join the dots in the crypto space. Do they potentially, or have they come up with the similar analysis to what this bill essentially is proposing, that the likes of Cardano are indeed commodities, not securities? So we'll play this clip, we'll get into a little bit of the news, and then we'll do a little bit of TA. I have real worries about the crypto space, guys, in terms of seeing more downside. I don't want to say it's inevitable, because nothing is for certain. But for me, all the risk is to the downside. That's still very much the case in the play. So we'll play this clip, guys. We'll talk about it, and then we will get into
Two senators, one from each side of the aisle, coming together to push crypto regulations. Elan Moy joins us right now. She's got more on this story. And Elan, we're watching this pretty closely. What can you tell us?
Well, Becky, a bipartisan pair of lawmakers is unveiling sweeping new crypto legislation today that aims to foster innovation, provide regulatory clarity, and protect consumers from bad actors. The proposal from GOP Senator Cynthia Lummis and Democrat Kirsten Gillibrand divides digital assets into two buckets. Fully decentralized cryptos like Bitcoin and Ether are defined as commodities and therefore regulated by the CFTC. Securities are overseen by the SEC. But there's also a gray area of so-called ancillary assets. They're not fully decentralized but don't meet the threshold of being a security. Think of Cardano or Solana. Those are presumed to be commodities but must file disclosures with the SEC twice a year.
So the category that they're kind of putting them in is this kind of like gray area of not being fully decentralized. There are arguments that Cardano is actually more decentralized than the likes of Ethereum. But the thing that Ethereum really has on its side is when it launched. You know, one reason it's been given a kind of pass, if you will, and is even accepted by the SEC really with Bitcoin as a commodity, is just simply because of when it launched. It's been around for a while, and the kind of ICO days were before, you know, that they were really looking at this industry. So it is generally good news for Cardano. I'm not sure how that's going to affect regulations, but, you know, regulations are coming. The crypto space is not going to avoid it. I think some people still have this idea that they can escape it. In fact, regulations are the actual catalyst for mainstream adoption. And, you know, that's something that people really need to pay attention to and watch how regulatory clarity unfolds. It also talks about stable coins. We know we've got the JED launching, and it talks about the fact they have to be 100%. There has to be 100% reserve with credible assets. So, for example, a dollar or in Tether's case, treasuries. How does this affect the likes of JED and other algorithmic stablecoins? We will monitor and keep you up to date on this situation because regulatory clarity and what regulations bring to the cryptocurrency space are going to be of the utmost importance for this space moving forwards. Let's get into a little bit of the news. We covered the fact that Cardano ADA emerges as favoured Ethereum rival in Grayscale's investment smart contract platform fund. We've got Hollywood actor Martin Lawrence is working on Cardano-powered NFT collection. Seems there's a lot of people doing this. I did hear, I wasn't actually in the space with Martin Lawrence, but I'm pretty sure there was something about him saying he wouldn't pass a business opportunity like this up to work with the Ethereum co-founder, which I don't think is what people really wanted to hear. But what you've kind of got to remember, and I'm a big fan of Martin Lawrence, by the way, comedy-wise and in terms of an actor, is that, you know, celebrities are in many ways businessmen. They have agents, and you know, a money-making opportunity is a money-making opportunity. Are these people doing it for the love of Cardano as a blockchain and you know what it's doing and all this sort of stuff? Argument to be made there that isn't the case. However, it might be. Speculation on my part, I really don't know. I have my own hunches, but you know, we try and stay as non-biased on things as possible. So good news, I guess. Cardano is ready for a go at $1 June hard fork FOMO. We've said this and we're going to reiterate it again. The prior hard forks that you have, in actual fact, we'll use this article because I believe it shows it, or shows certainly some of them. It doesn't have the Shelley hard fork on here. Have been, when you've seen these run-ups, it's kind of been already in a FOMO environment. We're not in that environment at all. And Cardano has very much been swimming against the stream as is. So if Bitcoin slams down again, you probably won't see that run. I'm kind of sticking my neck out a little bit here because I know there's many other influential Cardano speakers out there that seem to think we're going to get some sort of a blast off to it. I'm just very aware of the macro situation. And if Bitcoin permissions it, so if Bitcoin, you know, does similar thing to what it did last time before then eventually selling off, and we kind of have that kind of allowance for a little bit of the market not doing too badly. Remember, Friday's CPI print is tomorrow, and that's going to be a market moving event. Could move the market in our favor, could also go against us. We will have to see. But I do have real worries about the crypto space right now. And I ultimately think that it's seen a very good push up already. So we are from the low already 79% up. And if you look at, for example, the Alonso run up, I think that was 200 and something %, but that was in a very accommodating market. And of course, you've got the prior run ups, which were somewhat similar from announcement to actual launch. And when you think the Vasil hard fork, by the way, if anybody doesn't know already, comes out on the 29th of this month. So 20 days away, guys. It seems to be going fine in terms of testnet. In order for Cardano to get that pump, and I don't want to give people false hopes here, you have to have an accommodating market, i.e. Bitcoin has to not be dumping. If Bitcoin dumps, I don't need to tell you this. You should all know it already. What happens to Cardano? It rolls over with it, despite all the amazing fundamental things that are happening. And the other side of the coin that people potentially aren't looking at is what happens after the hard fork launch. Typically, it sells off. In fact, that's been the case every time. And selling off into an already selling off weak market could be rather detrimental. But we will see. You know, I'd love for Cardano to pump. You guys know that I'm looking to buy ADA at cheaper prices, along with a lot of other cryptos. I may never get them, but you know, that's just my bias, and I'm sticking with it and maintaining a very cautious approach to this market moving forwards, because we've spent a lot of time diving into the macro situation, and it isn't a pretty one, I am afraid, and there's no way for me to sugarcoat that other than to tell you how it is. The good news is, and we said this on the last video, is Cardano has actually shown significant strength thus far. Okay, So it's shown strength. It's gained ground against the likes of Solana, Luna, AVAX, all these other tokens. Luna's a bad example to throw in there because, you know, everything's gained ground against Luna, but neither here nor there. What I'm trying to show is that one good thing that we've seen for Cardano, and it's told me all I need to know in terms of, is Cardano going to be here and is it going to stay where it is that yes, it absolutely is, because it's shown strength. It's swum against the tide and it's performed, if you compare it with other cryptos, actually quite well in terms of not giving up market position and actually showing strength when others are weak. You know, there's a lot of good data that I'm getting out of this downtrend that is really going to help us into the next accumulation or the next bull run, basically. So that is really all I've got for you in this video. Be very, very cautious. Bitcoin acting kind of fruity, I'm not going to lie right now, in regards to what it's doing on the 5-minute chart. From somebody that's trying to trade this, I'm just like, ooh, I'll probably sit this one out because you're going to get a move out of this. You are going to get an absolute move out of this, I think, and it could be to the upside. Remember, FOMC tomorrow, big day. We're going to be covering it with my Patreon members. For anybody that's interested in my Patreon, there's a link to it in the description. Only 200 spaces in total, and about half of them have already gone in my Fortune Seeker tier. So if you guys want to take part in that, get on board with me, get on board with what is already shaping up to be a great community. Links in the description, head over there. We also have a video out called Welcome to my Patreon, where we explain what you're getting within the Patreon. All I've got for you in this video, guys. If you've enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated, so is a comment, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.